Okay, right. I have known the next speaker for around 10 years. He's my friend and he's an inspiration. He runs a magazine called Resurgence, which has both been insightful and tremendously influential, with opinion formers from personalities like Annie Lennox, environmentalists like George Monbiot, Tony Juniper, even Prince Charles and, if I'm right, the Dalai Lama as well. Satish Kumar is a wise Jain monk, originally from India, but a Great Britain too. Using his great experience and gentle spirit, I would like to ask Satish to provide his own unique insight into this morning's revelations and presentations, and help us to form a roadmap for green tourism to provoke your questions and our workshop this afternoon. Please put your hands together in prayer and to clap for Satish Kumar.
Thank you very much, John, for your wonderful talk. I enjoyed every word of it. And that shows that business can also have idealism. When you hear me, you will also know that I am an idealist. And when I say things like green values, people do tell me, oh, Satish, you are too idealistic. You have to get real. And I ask them, please tell me what the realists have achieved. We have global warming created by realists. We have world poverty ignored by the realists. We have wars, Iraq war, Afghanistan war, Vietnam war, nuclear weapons, all presided by the realists. What have the realists achieved? What have they got to show us for? So now is a time for the idealists. And therefore, when I hear John passionate about the planet and about the animals and the birds and other speakers, and you all, I would like to congratulate you for being the pioneers and the leaders in this field of tourism and making it green and sustainable. Step by step, day by day, you are the leaders. The sustainability is not going to come out of the Whitehall or the Westminster or the House of Commons or the Buckingham Palace. I know Prince Charles is doing his best, but it's going to come from you, from the ordinary people like you and I. We have to take the responsibility on our shoulders to say, we are not going to wait until the government or the big multinational corporations, they change. We are going to not wait. We are going to take responsibility upon our shoulders. Now, Ed Gillespie talked about 80 ways of going around the world. And I had one way as well. And I walked around the world on my two legs. And I have a name for myself, which is very close to green tourism. And I call myself a pilgrim. Now, you can expect that from a philosopher coming from India to have some kind of spiritual dimension to green tourism. And I hope that you will not mind me bringing the spiritual dimension to green tourism. I'm an earth pilgrim. I made a film for the BBC 2 which was shown on BBC Two, together with David Attenborough. And it was a film called Earth Pilgrim. And I wrote a book called Earth Pilgrim. And I realized that when I walked from India to Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, to Moscow, through Soviet Union. And I walked from Moscow to Belarusia, Poland, Germany, Belgium, France, and I took a boat from Calais to Dover and walked to London. It took me 2 years to walk to London. I was inspired by a British philosopher, Bertrand Russell. Some of you may remember Bertrand Russell. He was a Nobel Prize winning philosopher of Britain, Lord Bertrand Russell. But he was more than a Nobel Prize winning philosopher and mathematician and a lord. He was an activist. He was a pioneer of the kind of values that we stand for today. And he stood for peace in the world. And he protested against nuclear weapons. And he was put in jail. That's our mentor. How many of us are prepared to take that risk? Be that activist? And when he was put in jail for 1 week for disturbing the peace of the Queen, quite an irony, I was 25-year-old young man sitting in India drinking coffee. And I read this news, and I said to my friend who was with me, I said, look, read this one. As a photo of Bertrand Russell, 90-year-old. He's a man of 90 years old going to jail for peace in the world. What are we doing, young men, sitting here drinking coffee? And then and there, we decided to walk. We decided to go to Moscow, Paris, London, Washington, 4 nuclear capitals of the world. And how do we go there? That was a green tourism in 1962. Although at that time, the word was not invented. I said, let's go on our foot, on our 2 legs. And people said, oh, it will take you too long. I said, is there a shortage of time? When God made time, He made plenty of it. What's the hurry? And when we go to Moscow by plane or by train or car or something like that, nobody's going to take any notice of us. There are thousands of people arriving by plane. But if we go on foot to Moscow, everybody will be interested. The media, the students, the churches, the general public will talk to them about peace. And I tell you, that was the best decision that I made. With my friend, we started walking from the grave of Mahatma Gandhi in New Delhi, and we walked to Moscow. 10 months. And to London, Paris and London. Nearly 2 years. And met Bertrand Russell. And we went across the Atlantic and walked from New York to Washington, D.C. It's a lovely, long story. I have written a book about it called No Destination. And then also I met Martin Luther King, another idealist. I think it's very important to give idealists a chance. And then walked from Tokyo to Hiroshima, and then by boat back to India. So 2.5 years of that tourism, but I realized that we have to not only make peace with the world, but we have also make peace with the earth. And that's where green tourism ideal comes in. At the moment, humanity appears to be at war against nature. And as Ed said, we are nature. How can we be at war against ourselves? But we have separated ourselves. This is the old story that nature is out there, the trees and the mountains, the animals and the birds, and we humans are somehow separate, superior to nature, and we can do what we like to nature. This is for us to use. We can cut down the rainforest. We can overfish the oceans. We can pollute the land with poisons of chemicals and fertilizers and pesticide and herbicide. We can do what we like. We are the rulers of this planet Earth. That is a kind of mentality which had been ruling the world for last couple of 100 years. Now we need to change that. And we have to realize that, as Ed said, what we do to nature, we do to ourselves. Because we are nature. The word nature in Latin, same word as natura, natal, native, nation, nativity, all those words are same. Nature means to be born. Are we not born? How can we say we are not nature? We are made of nature. We are made of the earth. The food comes from the soil, and we are made of that food. And we are made of the water, and we are made of the air, and we are made of the fire. Earth, air, fire, water, space, time, intelligence, consciousness, all these elements we are made of are in nature, in the universe. We are microcosm of macrocosm. We are miniature universe. How can we separate ourselves from the earth? So making peace with nature was the lesson I learned while walking around the world. And as John mentioned the word economy and ecology, if I may be allowed to expand on that a little bit, because in the wisdom of the Greek philosophers, your home is not only the home where you have your bedroom and bathroom and a garden and a kitchen. Of course, that is your home, and it's also called ecos. But your village is your home. Your country is your home. Your continent is your home. But ultimately, the entire planet is our home. The earth home, the planet home. Unless we understand that this is our home, would you allow your home to be polluted? Will you allow your home to be destroyed? But we have forgotten the meaning of the word economy and ecology. And then the ecology, logos, means knowledge. So knowing your home is ecology. And economy means management of your home. Once I was invited to the London School of Economics, famous university in London, as you all know. And I asked them, please tell me, where is your department for the study of ecology? And you know what the answer was? We don't have one. And I said, do you mean to say that you are teaching economy without teaching ecology? Ecology means knowledge of home, and economy is management of home. Please tell me, you are all learned, educated, PhDs and MAs and professors here. Please tell me, how are you going to manage something which you don't know? Can you manage something which you don't know? Ecology means knowledge of your home, and you don't teach it. Economy means management of home, but you teach it. No wonder that the world economy is in a mess. Because you are sending these thousands upon thousands of graduates all around the world, because LSE is a very famous university educating people from all around the world, from India, China, Africa, South America, everywhere. No wonder that the world economy is in a mess. Because you are sending these graduates who are managing the home without knowing what they are managing. So every university where they teach economy, they need to teach ecology. And when you teach economy and ecology, then we will be pilgrims of this earth, and we will be embracing the green tourism. And it's a very simple. We have to start step by step. And you are, as I congratulated you, you are already on the path, moving towards sustainability, journeying towards more ecological balance and management of our home. And these things, very, very, I mean, when I go to hotels like this one, I get a little note in my bedroom, and they say, if you want to not make us wash your towel, please hang it from the hook. But if you want to change the towel, then leave it on the floor, and we will change your towel for a new towel. And that's very good, very good. I like it. But I think this is about now nearly 20 years old idea. We need to move a bit further. And I want to ask hotels to say to me how that towel was made and where that towel has come from, how much towel miles it has. Can we have now, in 21st century, organically cotton towel? Organic cotton towel. That's a new idea. I would like you, and you run hotels, I would like you to explore this possibility. Can we have now organic towels in our hotel rooms, bedrooms? Now, I went this morning for breakfast, and I saw some very nice bread, and I enjoyed it. But often, when I go to stay in hotels, the bread is very bad. I would like our green, sustainable tourism and hotels and restaurants and B&Bs to bake bread in the hotel. All these mother's pride lorries going up and down the country, polluting the air, fossil fuel based. You know the lorries which are on the road, how much petrol they use? The big, big lorries carrying Mother's Pride and Tesco food and Marks and Spencer food and Sainsbury's food. You know what those lorries, how much petrol they need? Hardly 3, 4, or 5 miles per gallon. How much petrol we are using, just wasting. Bread can be made where you are. So if you are green tourist hotel and restaurant and B&B, I would like fresh, organic, homemade, stone ground, good quality bread. That will be a step towards green tourism. So there are steps like that. How much food and vegetables and meat you are getting which is locally resourced. And if you are, meat is, I'm vegetarian. Please reduce the consumption of meat if you can. Because for one person's diet, to survive one person, vegetarian diet, you need about 1 acre of land. If a meat diet, you need about 5 acres. The amount of water, the amount of fossil fuel, the amount of drugs, factory farms especially. Why I'm 78 years old. Is there any lack of energy I have? Or vegetarian diet? Once I was in a school and they asked me, Mr. Kumar, what is your favorite animal? I said, an elephant. And you saw a picture of elephant Andrea showed you. Lovely picture. The child asked me, why your elephant is your favorite animal? I said, elephant is vegetarian and gets so big. So this is a kind of conditioning and programming of our minds that we have been told they have to eat more and more and more meat. You don't need so much meat. If you want to eat meat, a little bit is okay. And make sure that even if you are eating meat, the meat is coming from free-range cows and pigs and sheep and chickens. Free range, not in factories where cruelty to animals. John talked about that we are animals. We are nature, we are animals. How can we impose such a cruelty to animals, keeping them in factory farms? 3,000, 4,000 cows in one factory farm. Cows should be happily grazing delightful, delicious grass without any drugs, without any grain. You don't need to feed cows any grain. My mother was a farmer, and I had a cow, and we never fed cows with any grain. Grass-fed milk. Grass-fed cows are healthy, strong, and you will have no disease. And so, grass-fed, free-range, happy cows, happy pigs, happy chickens. If you must eat meat, have that. But never a factory farm. That's not sustainable. If you want global warming, 15 to 20% of carbon emission comes from our farms. It's a very, very fossil fuel intensive farming that we have today. We need a farming revolution. Who will lead that? You. The restaurants and the hotels and the B&Bs on green tourism list. Because you will say to farmers, we don't want this factory farm meat. We want good quality, not quantity, but quality. We are living in the reign of quantity. Quantities, quantities, quantities. That is the rule of our time. I want you to lead the way and say, not quantity. It's the quality which matters. Quality of meat, quality of bread, quality of water, quality of air. I talked about green tourism being a pilgrim, a green tourist being a pilgrim of the earth. And when you are a pilgrim, you are coming to appreciate. And your host is to welcome you. So your business, in my view, as a spiritual person, is not to make money. You will not perhaps agree with me. You will say, we are a business. Of course you are a business. But my advice to you is that your primary aim is not to make money, but to love your guests. That's a spiritual principle. To provide hospitality. Thank you for coming and being our guest in this hotel. How can we look after you? How can we give you best bread available in the world? Best quality water, best quality air, best quality hospitality. That's a relationship of love. That's a spiritual quality. Of course you need money. In the end, you will give them a bill. Of course, money is a byproduct of your business. It's not the primary aim. What is the intention of your business? What is the motivation of your business? Not just your guests are not an instrument of making money. They are human beings. They are spiritual beings. They are coming to stay with you as your guests. They are not money machines. They are your guests. They are spiritual beings. They are bringing love to you, and you are giving them love, your love. And money, profit is a byproduct. My father was a businessman, so I know the rules of business. And he always said, my primary aim of my business is to make friends. And of course, I have to balance the books, I have to take money and so on, but that is not the aim and the purpose and meaning of my life. If you spend your life just chasing money, you are wasting your human gift of human life. You are missing the gift of human life. We are not here just to pay the bills. Our purpose of life here is much, much deeper and greater. Now, can you embrace such a high ideal? This is why I started my talk with idealism. Can you embrace such a high ideal of hospitality? High ideal of loving your guests? High ideal of service? Maybe it's too idealistic. Maybe you can modify a little bit. But if we can do that, our planet will be a happier place. In Bhutan, they don't measure economic growth and GDP. They measure gross national happiness. Are we happier running this hotel. If you're happy running the hotel, you have achieved it. You are a successful business. If you are happy, if you are not chasing more money, more money, more money, it's not balancing books, it's not balancing books. If you are always obsessed with that, I think you are missing something. So my coming from Indian background, spiritual background, ecological background, and I have been doing Resurgence magazine now for 41 years. And I hope that in every one of your hotel and a guest room, you will have a copy of Resurgence. Please take the copy, which is complimentary, on your table with you. And if you like it, please subscribe. And put that magazine in the guest house, because it's a spiritual ecology magazine. It's a holistic ecology magazine. It's not just a kind of conventional utilitarian ecology. Utilitarian ecology is that we look after trees for the benefit of humans. The spiritual ecology is that trees have intrinsic value. Trees are not good only because they give us oxygen or fruit or apples or pears or whatever. Soil gives us grain and grass. But soil has intrinsic value. Our relationship with nature is of spiritual quality, of emotional quality, quality of heart. Of course, we have a head, and we think, and we analyze, but we also have a heart. When we see flowers, we see animals, we see birds, we are moved, inspired. That's where art comes, poetry comes. William Blake, Wordsworth, Ted Hughes, Seamus Heaney. Where that poetry coming from? Love of nature. Unless we have that love of nature, we are not going to be sustainable. Sustainability is not a utilitarian concept. Sustainability is a spiritual concept. It's a concept of relationship. And relationship is all. What is relation between husband and wife? It's a relationship of love. What is the relationship between child and parents? It's a relationship of love. What is the relationship between neighbor and neighbor? It's a relationship of love. I want same relationship with nature. What is my relationship with my trees and my garden and my dogs and cats and my cows and my horses and my elephants and my wildlife? It's a relationship of love. And when I love it, I cannot destroy it. When I love it, I cannot pollute it. I love my rivers. How can I put sewage in my river? If I love you, my neighbor, will I put my sewage in his or her house? No. I respect my neighbor. I love my neighbor. I'm not going to send my rubbish into their courtyard or into their backyard. So if you love nature, you will not destroy it. So sustainability is more than an economic idea. In the true sense of the word, economy is, of course, more than money. Our Chancellor of Exchequer, when he talks about economy, he does not mean the management of planet home. He only means money, money, money. And sometimes we get recession. It's a money problem. Recession is not a problem of nature. When you have a recession, the land is still producing food. Land has not said, we are in recession, we are not going to produce food. Trees don't say, we are in recession, we are not going to give you any apples. Cows don't say that we are in recession, we are not going to give you any milk. Chickens don't say that we are in recession, we are not going to give you eggs. The recession is purely a human construct of our banks and our governments, and who are obsessed with just the kind of money which is a means to an end. So we have forgotten the meaning of our business, purpose of our business, intention and motivation of our business. And therefore, bringing green tourism is to bring back that true intention, the high ideals, the high values, the high vision of a society where we are all caring and sharing with each other, like John Proctor talked about, the mutuality, togetherness, sharing and caring, cooperating, working together. Those are spiritual values. The selfish gene idea of me culture, that does not lead you to a sustainable future or a happy future. So we need these high ideals, and therefore I hope that green tourism can embrace ideals, idealism and practicalism, of course. Practical is not opposite to ideal. Ideal and practical are complementary to each other. We need to be practical, but we also need to be ideal. We need to be utilitarian, everything should be functional, but should be beautiful as well. My mother used to say, don't make anything, like William Morris said, don't make anything which is not beautiful, useful, and durable at the same time. I always say my mother's BUD principle, B-U-D, BUD principles, beautiful, useful, durable. So your hotel should be beautiful, your hotel should be useful, and your hotel be sustainable, durable. That's the beautiful. So if you can take this BUD principle from my mother and from India and from me to your sustainability business and your green tourism business, and run your hotel as a successful, joyful, happy place where you say, I'm doing good business because I'm happy doing it. And I'm looking after my guests because I'm happy doing it. And guests coming to you and say, I'm leaving you, but I will come again because I loved your place so much. You are such a kind host, I'll come again. That is the kind of relationship that we need to build. So sustainability is a wonderful idea. And green tourism is a wonderful idea because it has an ideal in it. So I again congratulate you for being the leaders in this movement. When I started editing Resurgence magazine, and when I was writing about windmills and solar panels, people laughed at me and said, what are you talking about, this kind of wishy-washy, flaky idea? And now, 40 years later, we have windmills and solar energy and good energy and electricity and so on coming as a good business. So ideas can become practical in the due course. So I am optimist. I have a hope. And I think to be an activist, you have to be an optimist. If you become pessimist, you give up. You say, oh, nothing is going to change. Everything has gone too far. World has gone too far. We can't revert the global warming anymore. You become pessimist, you give up. But when you are optimist, you are an activist. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to make an action. I'm going to do something about it. And each and every one of us have a great potential. All of you are a leader. A leader is not a special kind of person, but every person is a special kind of leader. So if we lead our way into a new future, which is future of sustainability and green tourism and happiness and gross national happiness at Bhutan is showing, I'll be delighted. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.